The Dallas Cowboys offseason just wrapped up, and the verdict from ESPN's Seth Walder has stirred up quite a bit of debate among fans and analysts alike. Walder gave the Cowboys a rather underwhelming grade, a C. That's surprising to many, especially after what felt like a much improved offseason compared to previous years in Dallas. When you look at the ranking without tiebreakers, the Cowboys find themselves tied for 26th place, sharing company with teams like the Commanders, Jaguars, Steelers, and Panthers. If you factor in tiebreakers, they slide down even further, landing in the 30th spot out of 32 NFL teams. That's a spot near the bottom of the barrel, ahead only of the Falcons and the Saints. For a franchise that's expected to contend and usually draws big attention during free agency and the draft, that's not exactly the glowing review you'd hope for. So what's behind this lukewarm assessment? Seth's review digs into the Cowboys' biggest moves, their draft picks, and the overall direction of the team's management. His take was nuanced. There were things he liked, things he wasn't thrilled about, and some areas where he clearly felt the Cowboys fell short. For instance, the trade that brought in George Pickens was highlighted as the team's top move. On paper, it makes perfect sense. Pickens addresses a critical need at wide receiver and pairs beautifully with CeeDee Lamb. Pickens is a dynamic, outside receiver who excels at contested catches and stretching the field vertically. Lamb, on the other hand, is versatile enough to operate both inside and outside, so the chemistry looks promising. However, the Steelers coach Mike Tomlin's apparent frustration with Pickens adds a layer of uncertainty. If the Steelers were done with him, there's a risk the Cowboys might be inheriting a player who could underperform or fail to meet expectations. The hope is that Pickens can make an immediate impact in 2025, and that if things go well, Dallas can decide later on whether to commit to a long-term deal. The cautious optimism about this move reflects a broader theme in this offseason: measured risk-taking rather than all-in gambles. But it wasn't just player moves that drew criticism. The hiring process that landed Brian Schottenheimer as head coach was widely seen as flawed. Seth pointed out that the search felt more like a formality than a thorough process. Only 4 candidates were seriously considered: Kellen Moore, Brian Schottenheimer, Leslie Frazier, and Robert Saleh. 2 of those interviews seemed like they were just to fulfill the Rooney Rule requirements and the team's decision to settle. On Schottenheimer, without a second interview for Moore left many scratching their heads. The search lacked the depth and competitive edge that a franchise like the Cowboys should demand when selecting a head coach. That said, Schottenheimer's early tenure has brought some positive momentum. While nobody knows yet how successful he'll be in the long run, the early signs are encouraging enough that you can still have some faith in his leadership. It's just the process of getting there that feels like a missed opportunity. Moving back to player acquisitions, the extension given to defensive tackle Osa Odigizua stood out as a solid move, especially given the inflated market for defensive tackles. Odigizua agreed to a 4-year deal worth $20 million annually, with $39 million fully guaranteed. Those are hefty numbers, but his ranking as a top 15 pass-rushing defensive tackle justifies that investment. While his pass rush win rate dipped from 4th best in 2023 to 11th in 2024, he still ranks among the league's more effective interior defenders. The market alternatives didn't look particularly attractive either. Other options that were floated, like Kinlaw or Poona Ford, ended up landing lucrative contracts elsewhere, meaning the Cowboys likely avoided bidding wars or overpaying for less proven talent. With hindsight, locking down Odigizua on that deal looks like a shrewd move, balancing cost and impact. When it comes to the draft, the general consensus from Seth was that the Cowboys did okay, but there was no overwhelming excitement. The 12th overall pick, Trey Brown, drew some criticism for not matching positional value for such a high selection. Ideally, teams want to maximize the impact of their first-round picks by targeting players at positions of great need or with elite potential, and there was speculation Dallas could have tried to trade down to acquire more picks. According to reports, the Cowboys did explore trade options, but the offers on the table weren't strong enough to justify moving back. Ultimately, they went with the player they had ranked highest on their board, rather than settling for lesser value. This cautious approach may not excite everyone, but it reflects a strategy to avoid bad deals and focus on quality. One pick that did receive praise was Donovan Ezaraku, taken in the second round at 44 overall. Ezaraku came into the draft as a fringe first-round prospect, and his sack forecast and analytical projection of his potential to bring pressure was notably high. Seth's prediction hovered around 7.5 sacks for the upcoming season, which is an impressive outlook for a rookie edge rusher. Fans and analysts alike have expressed optimism about his potential impact, especially given the Cowboys' need to bolster their pass rush. Later round selections, like Jaden Blue in the 5th round, also appear promising. While linebacker Shamar James was picked a bit earlier than some expected, the Cowboys seem to be stockpiling depth and focusing on players who fit their scheme. Historically, Dallas has done a decent job of drafting talent that can contribute down the line, so there's reason to trust the process even if the early picks don't jump off the page. Still, some moves left a sour taste, particularly in the running back room. The Cowboys decided to move on from Rico Dowell, who performed admirably last season once he became the lead back, replacing him with Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and Jaden Blue raised some eyebrows. While Williams has the potential for a bounce-back year, Dowell's 2024 performance was statistically better than anything Williams and Sanders combined have shown in recent years. Blue is viewed as a dynamic player with upside, but not as a true workhorse back. This shift likely represents a slight downgrade in overall talent and reliability at the position. The backfield has been a lingering concern for Dallas, and the new mix hasn't fully alleviated those doubts. The acquisition of linebacker Kenneth Murray Jr. also received criticism. The Cowboys swapped late-round picks to bring him in, but took on a significant salary cap hit, a $7.5 million cap charge. Murray struggled last season, ranking near the bottom among off-ball linebackers in run-stop win rate. While he still carries the label of a can-fix player with raw athletic talent, his inconsistency and difficulty staying clean in coverage make him a risk. This move typifies the Cowboys' offseason approach, taking calculated gambles that might pay off but also carry clear downsides. Overall, while Seth Walder's C grade might seem harsh, it actually reflects the reality that the Cowboys had their best offseason in several years. The bar simply isn't very high. By Dallas standards, some of these moves are improvements. By league standards, they're just average or slightly below. The team still has significant holes and unanswered questions. The blend of moderate upgrades, questionable decisions, and unproven coaching leaves plenty of room for skepticism. Yet there are also glimmers of potential and a cautious optimism that Dallas might be setting a foundation to build on if everything comes together. Continuing the discussion on the Dallas Cowboys offseason, it's clear that much of the criticism centers around the question of whether the moves made will actually translate into success on the field in 2025 and beyond. The reality is that the Cowboys, a franchise with high expectations every year, are often scrutinized more harshly than most. Fans want immediate results, and the front office is expected to build a roster capable of contending for a Super Bowl. When the offseason ends and the grades come out, anything less than an A, or at least a B, often feels like a disappointment. This year, the Cowboys found themselves somewhere in the middle, which means there's plenty of debate to be had about what was done right, what missed the mark, and what still needs to happen. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In the whirlwind world of the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys might be gearing up to assemble what could be the most explosive offense in recent memory. Rumors are swirling that the Cowboys have sealed a blockbuster deal with superstar wide receiver Tyreek Hill, potentially transforming their passing game into an unstoppable force. Sources close to the negotiations hint that Hill has agreed to a lucrative contract, making this move one of the biggest offseason stories so far. Tyreek Hill, known for his blistering speed and game-changing playmaking ability, would bring a new dimension to the Cowboys' already potent offense. Pairing Hill with Dak Prescott at quarterback and a strong supporting cast could push Dallas into serious contender status. The possibility of Hill joining the Cowboys sparks intense speculation. about how this dynamic duo might reshape the NFC landscape. Fans and analysts alike are buzzing over what this means for the team's championship aspirations. While nothing is official yet, the talk around league insiders suggests the Cowboys are willing to invest heavily in securing Hill's talents. The financial details reportedly point to a multi-million-dollar contract, underscoring the franchise's commitment to building a championship-worthy roster. Hill's presence would not only stretch defenses with his elite speed, but also open up opportunities for other playmakers on the team, creating a nightmare matchup for opposing defenses. This potential signing raises numerous questions. How will the Cowboys integrate Hill into their offensive schemes? What impact would this have on the development of young receivers and tight ends? And perhaps most crucially, can Dallas leverage this star power to finally break through and win a Super Bowl? The buzz is growing louder as the NFL community eagerly awaits confirmation. But one thing is clear, if this deal goes through, the Cowboys offense could be the most feared in the league. As the offseason progresses, eyes remain fixed on Dallas, watching for any sign that this dream attack is becoming reality. The stakes are high, and the Cowboys seem ready to bet big on Tyreek Hill, potentially rewriting the story of their franchise's future. Only time will tell if this rumor evolves into one of the greatest coups in NFL history. But for now, the possibility alone has ignited a firestorm of excitement among fans and pundits alike. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.